Okay, we're getting right into the end here. Only 3 teams left.
I'm so tired.
Let's jump into Williams real quick. I guess let's touch on briefly about last year. Williams was the second fastest car at most races. They didn't finish second in the championship, but certainly they are a team that's on the rise. Not like they could have gotten any lower than they were in 2013. Do you guys expect to see Williams sort of at the same level that they were at last year? Do you expect that trend to continue?
I have to say, before we speak of anything,
Yes,
No.
Alex,
say it.
No.
you said that I don't even remember exactly the words that Alex said about Valtteri Bottas. I think we need to get the clip here what Alex said about Bottas last year.
I know he had a bit of a bad car, but Bottas didn't have last year, so I'm for me just a pretty average driver. I don't think he's anything particularly special. He's good, but not not anything amazing. I think if he has a similar season to last season as this season, I don't think we'll see him in 2015, not at Williams at least.
And he didn't believe that he was that much of a talent.
Clearly he is.
He clearly is.
Oh yeah, he definitely proved that in 2014. Alex, I think you can agree with that now.
No comment.
That's a yes in Alex Gillenese.
I've said it, on Twitter and stuff throughout the year. I did take it back, and he did surprise me. He has particularly. I think Massa impressed me as well. To be fair,
he did.
I was surprised Massa did so well, but Bottas, he really is a star, and he really is a talent. And I cocked that up royally last time. And
it was
probably
great.
Why I'm just me and I'm not an F1 analyst.
Well, it was great seeing Massa come back too. I mean, I'm not a Massa fan. I don't dislike the guy, but I'm not I don't have a Massa flag hanging above my bed. No, I have a Perez flag. And they hit each other obviously in Canada. That's right. I have a Perez flag hanging above my bed.
Above your bed that you sleep with your girlfriend of however many years. That's a bit weird.
That's right.
That should not be allowed.
Right up there. But it also says McLaren on it. I don't know. I might fold it so that you can't see the McLaren part. Anyway, but it was so nice to see. It's sort of like what you were talking about before. It's that happy ending that people really like in a story, and Massa really gave that to us last year. He really put in a really nice performance, especially against a new talent such as Bottas.
Do you know what I love about the Massa thing is that we've now got 2008 Massa back. It was amazing 2008. Obviously, very, very nearly won a title. Mm-hmm. And like then, he walked around the paddock with confidence. He walked around the paddock enjoying life, smiling. But since he came back from his crash, he's not really been like that. He's been obviously under a lot of pressure from Ferrari, always underperforming as well, partly because of that pressure. And it's just not been a nice time for him since. And it's just been a new Massa, isn't it? It's been Massa reborn at Williams, which is really good to see. He has been much more relaxed by the paddock, much happier, performing a lot better, obviously.
He even got a pole position.
Yeah,
exactly,
he got that pole. It was Austria.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was fantastic to see. It really was. Again, I'm not a Massa fan, but it is fantastic to see that he's not done with the sport. He's definitely still got the speed there. I would say that transformation you're talking about kind of started in 2013 even. I don't know if you remember back in 2013 in the sort of second half of the season, he actually started outperforming Alonso. He outqualified him at Circuit of the Americas, remember? And he took a 5-place grid penalty so that Alonso could start from the clean side of the track rather than the dirty side. Yeah,
but he also did that at the end of 2012. That he means A, he probably prefers the track in the season, and B, he for some reason there's certain pressures that he obviously performs very well under. But in both of those seasons, well, then we can't judge on obviously last year because he moved teams. But he did very well at the end of 2012. The exact same thing, performed really well, managed to get a renewed contract only for 1 year, and then performed badly again at the beginning of 13, and then picked up again for the end of 2013. You just can't have a driver that only picks it up when his contract's under threat.
I think it was Martin Brundle who said, they should fire Felipe Massa at every race because that's when he seems to really perform well.
Exactly, yeah. It's true.
And he actually performed really well at the end of this season as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it was on the podium in Abu Dhabi and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and he beginning of the season he was losing to Bottas, and the end of the season he was winning. So he obviously prefers the tracks as well. It's obviously
maybe that is it. That's a very good point. I hadn't really thought of it that much. Because in 2013, I do know during the summer break that he started seeing a sport therapist. in between Hungary and Spa, I think. And I remember he gave an interview at some point, and he said that made a pretty big difference on his outlook and everything. Obviously, joining Williams and having Williams be the second fastest car, that's got to be a big ego boost as well.
Well, yeah, you got sacked from a team, and then you beat the team. It's amazing. It's not after that happened.
Yeah, so I'm glad Felipe Massa is still in the sport. I'm happy to see him on the grid again for 2015. I'm hoping that he continues to harass Bottas. I think Bottas has more potential than Massa, but right now they're kind of at that point where they're at similar speed. Where Massa's experience is making up for Bottas's talent. But as Bottas continues to pick up more and more experience, obviously he's only going to become faster than Massa.
Just go back briefly to Massa's improvement in the second half of the season. Having thought about it, we missed the whole technical thing, I guess, because obviously, the car will get to more his liking. They'll bring developments that he wants.
True.
So if he wants a stronger front end, they'll give him a stronger front end to an extent.
True.
And also, the setup thing. His setups will evolve throughout the season, and they'll get better and better. So towards the end of the season, you have the best car, obviously, relative to the beginning of the season. So that'll obviously definitely help.
Right.
With his performing better at the end of the season.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So do you guys expect Williams to be up there still in 2015? I mean, I guess in the timing sheets for the practice or for the preseason testing, they were smack dab in the middle actually, 7th and 8th for as far as time, and also smack dab in the middle when it comes to distance run by the Williams team in general. So I mean, they didn't really do anything spectacular in testing, but maybe they're sort of doing the same sort of thing as Mercedes, where they're just constantly running with high fuel. I can't really see them slipping back to their 2013 area though, so I gotta imagine they're at least going to be podium contenders in 2015.
Yeah, I think Williams is pretty much always the team. Like last season, we could see that they were really often the team that they didn't really shine in the practices, and come qualifying, they're up there. So I wouldn't be all surprised that they're probably gonna be up there again. But I'm really concerned about the development rate for them, because I can really see Red Bull and maybe Ferrari catching up to them. So
mid-season
maybe not,
or something.
Yeah, they're probably not gonna be as frequently on the podium as last year. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I could see that too.
But I think mostly what they really need now is good downforce, because their last car, it was really slippery, so they were really quick on the high speed stuff and that kind of stuff, but you could really see that the rear end wasn't as stable as it should be.
Yeah, it wasn't planted.
I think now that they're pretty close to solving that, and well, time will tell if they can keep up with the bigger teams.
Right.
I'll say two things about their average performance in the first test. Number one, they've got nothing to prove. They finished last season as the second strongest team, and we're doing amazing things, and everyone was really impressed coming from their terrible 2013. So they got nothing to prove in tests, and there's no Ferrari have they want to be back, and the glory runners have got something to prove. Williams haven't. And also, the first test, it doesn't really matter about performance. A lot of them, I think pretty much all the teams, are running last year's front wing, barring the nose, the actual wing. They're running last year's, and no one's got performance parts on. So what's the point in gathering performance on essentially just a chassis, just the tub? There isn't really much. And once you put a new front wing on, it will change everything anyway. So it's a bit pointless, really, in terms of that. But it's just about mileage, isn't it? You just want to get mileage on the car, make sure the systems are working, make sure that all the telemetry's coming through fine, make sure the engine's working fine, make sure the temperature's fine. It's more about that, learning about initial things about the tyres as well. It's more about that. The first test, so, I think seeing them down the grid means absolutely nothing, and that's kind of why. But I expect
reliability terms, they've been pretty bulletproof in the first test. I don't think they broke down once.
Oh, yeah,
really?
But like Justin said, they only got average mileage though. They only did 278 laps compared to Mercedes,
they were fifth.
515.
Well, yeah, but I mean nobody did Mercedes, even close. I mean, let's compare the. That's true, but they did a lot more than Lotus, for example. Obviously, it's a new engine for them.
Yeah, it's the new,
And they were only 71 laps less than Ferrari. And then, Toro Rosso only did 4 more laps than Ferrari did. So they're not too far off. They're in much better shape as far as mileage goes than Lotus is. But they're really not too far off of Sauber, Toro Rosso, and Ferrari.
But then, like I said, Mercedes are the exception to that, I guess, because you don't, well, you do want worry-free running sort of thing, trouble-free running, but you want to go round. I'll just tweak that, or I'll fix that. Oh, that's not quite working. You want to be constantly tweaking it and making it perfect, so that when you put the performance parts on in the following tests, then your car is pretty reliable. That's what you want. So even though they didn't break down, being in the garage and tweaking things is a good thing. I think, like I say, Mercedes is the exception, and they seem to, we'll get onto it in a minute, but they seem to have pretty much nailed a essentially perfect car from the word get-go, which is, I think they've broken records, I think, for testing. It's amazing the first week to get that many miles in, so they are the exception. But going on to the performance as well, I think this season they will be on similar level to last season. I'm expecting them to be right up there. On a par with Ferrari, I would say, because obviously Ferrari will move up. Everyone's kind of expecting that. Again, but then just below Red Bull, that's kind of where I'm expecting them to be, and on probably McLaren Honda's level as well. But in terms of development rate, though, they really impressed me last season, because previous seasons they've always fallen back, haven't they? They've had a half decent car in the beginning, they've always fallen right back towards the end. But last season they didn't. They got stronger throughout the season relative to the other teams, which is amazing. Like to compare the budgets of Red Bull, who they outdeveloped effectively last season. It's absolutely amazing. That's got something to do with the engine as well, obviously. But it's so I don't think to me I really, really highly rate what's his name? Massa's old engineer. I forgot his name.
Smedley.
Rob Smedley.
Yeah, Rob Smedley. That's the one. I knew it was Rob something. Rob Smedley. I liked him before. His character's good. He's good fun with Massa and stuff. But what he did to Williams last year, and as soon as he came in, he basically turned the team around, as far as I can see. Because Williams was stuck in the same pattern every year, like you say, half decent car, then underdeveloping it. Perhaps a little bit unstable rear end, all that sort of thing. Kind of all a bit iffy. Solid but iffy. But Rob just seemed to come in and fix all of their issues. He fixed the pit stop issues. He made them concentrate on the right things. So I think wasn't they struggling with rear tyres? He sorted that right out. Give him half. Probably about a quarter of a season. Did it really quickly. And they had no more rear tyre issues. And he managed the drivers really well. And obviously I don't know his exact role, but as far as I can see, as soon as he came in, he basically he fixed everything that was wrong with the team, essentially.
Right.
Like it was back to being a solid front running team.
I mean, there were they did acquire other people as well that were pretty big. Probably names that we don't know though. But I think Smedley had a big
sure.
impact.
But the reason I say that is because I heard in the middle of last season that the tire wear thing is a good example, because I heard someone saying that it was Rob that basically told the team, right, you need to concentrate on this rear tire thing. Like that is don't worry about performance, don't worry about it, just fix that, like do that. So he seems to be the one that kind of points the team in the rough direction to go. No, he's more about the workings of it. He's more about the pit stops and things than the actual design of the car. He's more of a team manager, I think, sort of thing. But he obviously also does influence that sort of thing a lot. So whatever he did when he went in, he just I think he changed the kind of not the motivation, the mentality of the team a lot as well. Things like like I said, the pit stops were poor in 2013, weren't they? They had a lot of mistakes, and they ended up having to have very slow pit stops because they had to double check everything they were doing. So it was just horrific. Whereas last year they weren't. They were back to being not quite top, team.
Right. They're not Ferrari or McLaren or Red Bull even.
But that's never going to happen. But they were back to having totally reliable pit stops and pretty quick. So Rob Smedley has really, really impressed me from what he's done. I think I'm expecting this team to be very similar to last season, basically. That people like Ferrari will have caught up to them, but I don't think they'll suddenly fall behind them and then fall behind on the development rate either. And of course, having the best engine helps a lot.
Right. Yeah. Certainly doesn't hurt.